Welcome to Deep Thought. Will you fly? Will you fly? Now, in the previous podcast, I talked about the herd, and most of us are a part of that herd. Most of us. Let's just be real, but not all of us. Because if you think about it, these got different types of herds and everything. But what about birds? Now you see flocks of birds and everything, but they're not as big as herds most of the time. Most of the time, you do get some small. I've seen some small type of bird. I ain't sure what type. You'll see a whole bunch of them. That's a herd. But as you get up there more, the herd or the packs become smaller and smaller. To the point you'll get like an eagle or the hawk. You know, especially the eagle. You never see them in a herd or a pack or anything, a group. If you see an eagle at best you might see them mating. You know, you might see a group of, baby eagles, or well, I'm not even sure what their official name is, in a nest or something if you get lucky, but usually they're by themselves. Now, see, the thing with the bird, when you're flying, you see everything. You got greater freedom. One, you can move better. But then you can see the entire picture. So that's an analogy to someone who has risen above the herd, even the pack. And it's a powerful analogy because think about the bird. Use the analogy of the bird. You can see everything. When someone rises above the herd, yeah, you don't have the same group. Yeah, you're not following that. You don't have the same community. But you can also see the bigger picture. You actually get more freedom. Because the thing about the herd is directed. The herd is directed. When people talk about the elites, whether they call them Illuminati, the power structure, some people might call them the deep state. Whatever they call them, they don't have absolute control over anybody. All they can do is put up a fence. You know, they put up an electric fence. All they can do is direct. But if the herd decides to rebel against that, they will run over the elite. They will run over. It's just like in that movie, The Lion King. As powerful as Mufasa was, as powerful as he was, you know, he still got killed by some antelope because the herd ran over him. And of course, that herd was directed by the hyenas and stuff, which is how things happen in this world, right? That's what the elite do. But what if you can fly above it? You can fly above that. You see the antelopes. You sitting there chilling, trying to eat something. You see the antelopes coming. You'd be like, "Look, let me just fly." With that analogy in the real world, like I said, you see what everybody else is doing, but you decide, well, you know what? I'm gonna fly above this. I'm gonna let them do that there. Get on my perch here, get on my tree here, and just look at them, and maybe dip down or something. Deal with them. Deal with them on my own terms and stuff. And then when they get on my nerves, just fly above it. That's ultimately how people have to be. And you can still maybe have a pack or something like that. Like I say, you see some birds, they might be in a small pack and they just be chilling. Like in my neighborhood, we have a duck pond. It's not really, but you get a bunch of geese in there, and they be in their little packs. And there's one family of geese, I always recognize them. They be walking like church ladies and stuff. They just be doing their thing, got their kids, but then they got their little packs, and that's all right. The pack ain't that bad because you tend to be in a pack with similar-minded people, but more independent-minded people. You working together, but it's more your choice. You're not being directed by shepherds. You're not being directed by shepherds at all. You can't control a bird that way, and you can't control the eagle that way. In fact, with eagles, it's best to stay out their way. You want to be like the eagle. You want to be like the hawk. You want to be like the falcon. You want to be able to fly above everything. And it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing because you have constant pressure, not just from the shepherds to direct you in a certain direction, but from the herd itself. How many times have people wanted to? I'll tell you something very basic. How many people have decided not to practice the spiritual path of their parents or family and went against it? And what's always happened? Your family come at you hard. Sometimes they come at you blatantly and say, yes, you're going to burn for this. Or, you're going to be in this trouble. What are you doing? Sometimes they come at you soft and say, baby, I'm praying for you or something. Or they'll try the nice thing. Or they'll try to convince you. They trying to draw you back into the herd. But see, when you can fly, you can just fly above it. You can just be like, boom. But will you fly, though? Will you fly? Because what's coming, everything's coming. Like I said, I predict a major spiritual movement. And on a smaller level, it could be several spiritual movements. I'm predicting like certain political philosophies to emerge. And it's that not just in the United States. It's going to emerge somewhere. It could be an economic thing. People could embrace certain things that maybe is not, it could be a path where people aren't consuming the same way. It could be something. Like I said, it ain't always bad, but what if it is bad? Or what if it is something against like your very being? Can you fly above it? Can you be that type that if you do deal with that particular path, you do deal with that particular political philosophy or economic philosophy or just life philosophy, you doing it for your own things? I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that. Can you do it for your own thing? I want you to think about that. And that's the thing. Will you fly? Like if you can follow whatever spiritual path, you can follow whatever political philosophy, economic philosophy, life philosophy. But you doing it because you consciously examined it and it touched you on a deep spirit thing. And when I say spirit, I don't mean a particular path, but within your very being, you feel like, okay, I can deal with this. I can deal with this spiritual path. I can deal with this political philosophy. I can deal with this economic idea. I can deal with this overall life philosophy because it's my choice. I'm not following it because everybody else is following it. I ain't following and I'm questioning. Even while I'm following it, I'm questioning it. Because then if things start to change up, I still have the ability to walk away from it. That's flying. Like I said, that bird could be, that hawk or eagle could be chilling out. See the herd come in. It's like, look, do I just want to hang out with them or, put myself and just chill out, still do my thing? Or do I just want to just leave? You want to be that thing. Now, I know a lot of people will automatically say, well, I'm going to fly. I'm going to fly. But remember what I said in my last podcast. It could be tough. Because flying might mean you might have to cut off some people. Flying might mean you might have to even walk away from your family. That's how deep it is, and you don't really want to. That's the hardest thing. That is the hardest thing. You might delete stuff you're familiar with. So it's not hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. But will you try anyway? That's the whole thing. Will you try to fly? Will you try to spread your wings? Will you leave something that was comfortable? Are you willing to do that? Because it could be a lot. The way the world's changing, like I said, there's safety in numbers. There's safety to follow, go along to get along. Trust me. Many of us have had that choice. Many of us been put in that position. But when you fly, it's actually better because then everything is totally your choice. Not the shepherd's choice, not the herd's choice, your choice. I want y'all to really think about that. Really think about what I talked about the last few episodes. So that's all I have for now. Peace and many blessings.